On Super Bowl weekend, the big game is also big business for the sex trade. Thousands of underage girls will be trafficked to Dallas, specifically in town for the festivities. For an MSNBC documentary, Sex Slaves, Texas, we recently went there to investigate the stories of missing girls from Latin America who end up being held as slaves here in the U.S.
I had big dreams.
They are teenage girls who came to Texas with great hope.
I dreamed of buying a house for my mom.
But dreams of supporting loved ones back home became a nightmare of being trapped in a life of daily rape and beatings.
You have people's daughters being raped, basically, in bars under threat of force.
More often than not, the story behind sex slavery begins in a small Latin American village with young girls with big dreams. In January 2003, Wendy and her friends, 16-year-old Suheli and 14-year-old Anna, were eating lunch at their school in Tiny El Gancho, a remote village in North Honduras. They were approached by two well-dressed businessmen. To Wendy and her friends, being recruited was like winning the lottery.
At that moment, I became very happy. They said they would pay us $150 a day and that they wanted to help people from our country with jobs in their factory up north.
They often promise them legitimate jobs, either cleaning jobs or simply being bartenders or serving drinks or working in a restaurant. And suddenly when they arrive, they begin to realize that they're trapped.
The horror started the next morning. They began with Anna.
They grabbed my youngest friend and began having their way with her. Afterwards, they did the same to my other friend. Then an older man who was about 65 years old started with me. He said he was going to show me how to be a woman. But I don't know what that means, I said. So I'm going to show you, he said, and he took off all my clothes and began raping me.
From that day forward, Wendy says she was raped, tortured, and moved from brothel to brothel, often working alongside 15 other enslaved girls, each servicing 6 to 7 men a night.
I've seen people treat livestock better than these people treat their girls.
Look closely on the outskirts of Houston and lining the streets near the port, you will find an abundance of unassuming bars known as cantinas. Most cantinas look like regular nightclubs, offering little more than loud music and cold beer. But those that know will tell you that behind this public facade are hidden passageways and tiny rooms where girls, many of them from Latin America, are forced to be sex slaves, trapped and enslaved by threat of violence.
I think the average American citizen would be shocked to see one girl treated like this, much less the number we have here in Houston.